Today's topic that we're going to be talking about is
Hold on. Today's church is a breeding ground for narcissism.
narcissism. Okay.
All right, so let's go to the definition of narcissist. We're talking about narcissism, so we need to know what a narcissist is. Okay. A person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. So it's kind of like one of those all about me persons. They're everywhere. Yep. So we're gonna do this a little bit differently. In the last broadcast, I was answering most of the questions about should women be pastors. The answer is no. By the way, go back and look at the video. Okay, biblically no, not opinionated no.
Okay.
But we're going into the pastors. Today is a breeding ground for narcissism. And Dan, I got a question for you.
Okay.
How can the church be a breeding ground for people who think only of themselves?
That's a great question. She said, "How can a church be a breeding ground? Breeding ground?" And I want to repeat that so I can make sure I remember. Breeding ground for people to think about themselves. Well, I think the first thing with that, I'm glad you asked me that question. The first thing is you got to remember, you have people for all types of walk of life. They came to hear a person to deliver a message of hope in the biblical terms. And not only just that, they also came with their own agenda too. Just like that person who's giving the message, they came with agenda also.
Yeah.
But what happens is sometimes when the person who has that agenda and they know they're the pastor of the church, they become the one who most time make all the shot calls and be able to control certain things. That's why you said, so the question was, you said, how does the church become a breeding ground? Well, we have somebody in charge. It's very easy for someone to become about themselves because they've been given power because people showed up or they're there.
Yeah. I heard what you said. You also said that the people come and they're only thinking of themselves. So that's narcissistic.
That's right.
And then the people who are leaders are narcissistic because they're only thinking of what they can get
That's
out
right.
of it. So it's a bunch of just everybody's thinking about what they can get out of it. It does make me think about how it's a me. It's very humanistic. That's another word that comes up. It's
humanistic, yep.
humanistic. We think in the church that it's about it's just human. Human it's about survival.
That's
Me,
right.
me. What do I get out of it? And we bring that into the church. All right. So let's see. What are some of the ways that? What are some of the things that get done in the church that look like narcissism?
Oh man, that's a great question. Oh, see me some heavy hitters today, y'all. All right, what are some of the things that looks like narcissism that get done in the church? Well, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna say it. I personally think, here go drum roll, please. I personally think a lot of times when you have anniversary services and it's about the pastor, about that person and not God. I believe that there's definitely some type of narcissism there because it's about them and not focus on God. You come to church, you're supposed to be about God, not the person. And I know you're gonna say the Bible says gives honor where honor is due, but every year, once a year, every time, y'all, come on now. I mean, I'm just that's something there. Because I know personally, I'm a leader in the ministry, whatever. But I know personally, you have to learn that what you do is about God. It's never about you.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Narcissism is definitely that. Go ahead. Yeah.
Wow. So what about the money?
The money. You do know that most of the money that's in churches does go to the pastors in some form or fashion. It may not necessarily go all in his hands, but the vision that individual had when they first started the church, they took that money from you, okay, and used it for what they say the vision that God gave them to have. So it's still about them.
Wow. That's heavy. I mean, when you say about the anniversary services and, you know, um, one thing I think about also is like when we everything the topics, everything that's talked about and everything that's done, it seems like all you see is the pastor's face. All you see is everybody saying all these nice things about the pastor this, the pastor that. Jesus is nowhere to be talked about, or he gets the he's second to everything else. The pastor is definitely everything. You know, they say little sneaky things like, well, everything that's happened so far was good, but we know the best part is when the preaching. Now, the best part is when you get to stand up and talk. I'm sorry, but that's really because that's how they do. That's how they do it, churches.
And I'm just gonna add that she's right, because you're right, because even back in the old time church, they came together and people had things to say. It wasn't just one person speaking. They had people to bring together. They had gifts. They had talents. They did that. I think a lot of times now in modern church, that's exactly what people do. They give that person the power to be able to have a narcissism spirit, because they give them, it's about them spirit, because they show up and they say, my pastor, he's this, he's that. And what my pastor says this and that. That's what they gave that person, that spirit of narcissism.
Like a godlike mentality. Yep. That if this person said something, then oh my God, it must be it is law. Yep. Okay. So narcissism, it's a breeding ground for the church is a breeding ground for narcissism. Okay, so we're not scripted at all right now. Because we're seeing it happening a lot in the church. And when like the pastor comes up and he says, what do you think when you hear a pastor say, my sheep?
Oh, my sheep. Oh. Oh my goodness. First of all, we gotta know. As a pastor, I'm a pastor too, so that's a deep one. I personally know that they're never your people, because you never knew the person before they came there anyway. They chose to came to your congregation, your church, with you, and they were sent there. We want to be biblically, in tune with stuff and say, well, God sent them there. But just like a sheep, they can go anywhere they please, they can graze where they want to. So it's never really it's not really your sheep for sake, because we do know the Lord is really the true shepherd. Yes. Okay. So he says he made man in his image, but at the same time, we don't have no authority, nothing like God has. Yeah. What I'm saying is, when they come, just from a natural view, when they come, to your place where you at and you speaking, you giving the word, you just know that's all you there to do. Because really and honestly, they make up the body of Christ. You just a part of it. You're not higher than anybody. You just made the choice to serve God. And some people still understanding who God is. So that doesn't mean you're greater than anybody else. It doesn't mean that. The church body is made up by believers. So.
Yeah. I think from, you said your church. When they come to your church.
That's a narcissist word there.
Yeah, it is. But it's because we all have been groomed to think a certain way.
See?
And that whole grooming is like a positioning. Like in most of the major churches, like, okay, the pastor's mic is the loudest mic. They have to give him the best features, vocal features, in the microphone.
That's right.
His seems so loud and so dynamic. Even the way we sit, like back to what you said about, when you said your church. A lot of churches the pastors think it is their church and their people. No, it is a building and a location where we come to meet.
That's it.
Yep. The church is already owned by somebody.
Yep.
It's owned and headed by Christ.
That's right. There's a difference.
And
brick and mortar is not God.
Okay, let me ask you this: what do you think is the most one of the most unbecoming things you think pastors do nowadays that you don't like, or you don't like that they do?
Oh, that's a great question. She said one of the most. Oh, she hit me with some good ones today, y'all. Oh my goodness, I like this. I love this. Well, the most unbecoming thing is you preach the word and then you're hypocritical because you go home and live another way. That's the one thing that's been happening for a very long time. And another thing is the manipulation. We talked about this before, but the manipulation spirit that that individual pastor has, those are my two hot, like my pet peeves, where you manipulate people to tell them they have to give. They don't give, then they're not going to be blessed. They can't be a member in your church. Those are definitely narcissism tactics that are very heavy near dear to my heart. That I know that is very important, for you not to do if you are, I believe, if you're a leader.
Okay. So if so many pastors are doing it, why are you not doing it?
Because
they're making mad money.
They make mad money. You're right.
Yeah,
They make a lot of money.
So why are you not doing it?
Because I know I just can't stomach the fact of taking advantage of people. I just got to know I got to sleep well at night, and trust me, I sleep well at night. But some people don't care, and some people do believe they have a belief system where they believe they deserve that.
Yeah.
They believe they're doing something so special. And by the way, the word of God is free.
Yep.
The Bible is right there. You see? So, and for, I'm going to have to go there. For 300 years, the church, you look it up in your history if you don't mind, 300 years, there was no tithing and giving. It didn't come along until Constantine from Rome, basically brought that in.
We're saying there was, for 300 years, there was no tithe.
There's no tithes.
No tithe.
That's right. Okay.
Wow.
None. So the church was still surviving. They were going home to home. You see? Wow. So I don't think people that are in church and ministry understand that.
Wow. Wow.
Even leaders don't understand that.
So there's an ignorance.
Yes.
There's an ignorance behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So narcissists also manipulate.
Yes.
They manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about some things that, like, or anything you can come up in your head that they use as tactics to manipulate the people, to get them to do what they want them to do.
Oh, want me to give you an example?
Yes.
When they say, I'm going to go there, I'll tell you, I got to say it too. When they say, well, I believe that God told the 20 people that's going to have $200 in their hand to give to me, God told me that. They have took you to the cleaners. Mm-hmm. They have manipulated you because they already know, they know that you know where you're at.
Heard that before.
Okay? Mm-hmm. They know that if they do the math, you got 10 people who get $200, that's $2,000.
Yeah.
And then they have the audacity, to also ask, on top of that, for offering for the pastor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go figure. If that's not narcissism, because it's about them, they make sure they was included. Okay? Yes. In that. And they're also getting money anyway for the church anyway, also too. That's the thing. It's all about me, what I want to accomplish.
Yeah. And then the people that come, what's amazing is that what I've learned is the big church that you're going to, all the works that they do, you think you're a part of it, but you're getting nothing out of it. They get the checks.
Yep.
They get the recognition.
That's right.
But you go home.
Yep. And you suffer.
Nothing.
You suffer.
But all you get to say is that, Mount Zion is my church that I go to. That's all you get, bragging rights that the big church is your church. That is a narcissistic thing to do, and involves manipulation. Mm-hmm. It's to make people feel like they're doing something and they're a part of something they're not getting anything out of. That's what's sad, I think, about the church, is that, it being a breeding ground for a bunch of dysfunctional actions to go on. And there's so many other things that go on, the manipulation and narcissism.
Can I add one more thing to him?
Yeah.
Also, too, in the whole thing of being a narcissist, you understand how emotions work.
Yes.
So people know how to work your emotions enough to the point where you lose control with logic. See, what is in reality becomes false because they know how to get to you. They're masters of that. They know you're emotionally tied. They know you are emotionally high with God. And then they know before they even get a message, it's like you're almost paying for something. Okay? They're pretty much that you don't have to pay for. And they're not aware of that because they've been taught that. over time. They went through that whole system also.
Wow.
So we're here just to put that on notice about narcissism, to show you, and hopefully you understand what we're saying. If you disagree, that's fine. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Because we know the truth of what really goes on. You ain't talking to anyone here. My wife, we've been through things with church. No, we're not church hurt. We just try to expose the truth.
Yeah.
That's all. You know.
Yeah.